Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli, and this is the Storyteller Forecast for Cancer for August 2018. Go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, and see all kinds of self-development goodies I have for you there. Also, if you are interested in learning more about astrology, I have astrology education courses, and I also have a very extensive free blog on astrology that you will love. So what's going on in this month of August? We have Mars retrograde, we have Mercury retrograde, we have a third eclipse, the final eclipse of the eclipse cycle. We have 2 outer planet trines, beautiful, wonderful, magical. And we have a handful of annoying square aspects that we also have to talk about. But for the most part, there's a lot of very positive activity here. So I'm calling the theme of the month for Cancers accomplishment and big money news. And part of that is coming from how the solar eclipse is going to be hidden. Okay, so we're going to talk about a number of things here. Just a recap about the eclipses. The first thing to note is that we are in a continuum, right? So these eclipses started at the beginning of 2017, they go into 2019, here we are, partway through, stories are being told, chapters are being begun and ended along this bigger story path. So things are opening, things are closing, and we don't have the full story yet. So even within that whole thing, we've got 3 eclipses telling pieces of a story, maybe simultaneous stories, maybe ones that are related or not related to each other. So in June, I talk about the July 12th eclipse and how that may manifest for Cancers. So you can check out my June report to see about that. The July 27th lunar eclipse, I talk about how that can manifest for Cancers in my July report. Now in this August report, I'll talk about this 3rd eclipse, August 11th, solar eclipse at 18 degrees of Leo. But you definitely want to go back and check those out, because even though we're into August now, you may think the eclipses are behind us, but the other 2 are behind us, but they're not, because you can very much have manifestations from those eclipses in the month that follows, or even the couple of months that follow. So it's good to be aware of all these things going on and how they may manifest and how you can best use them. Okay, so for most of you, you will experience this eclipse in the 2nd house. That's where the big money news comes from. The rest of you will experience this in the 1st house, and that's where the accomplishment is rolled in. Okay, so the accomplishment can be rolled into the big money news. That can be part of it. The accomplishment can be separate. The accomplishment can be a predecessor to big money news, like you get somewhere, you do something, you're recognized, and then you have a chance for money to follow. Early and middle degree placement, so basically the first 2/3 of the sign, either by degree or if you're watching for your birthday, you're going to have this happen in the 2nd house. And you late degree placements, some of you might even have this happen in the 2nd house of money. But the rest of you late degree placements will be in the 1st house. So let's talk about the 2nd house manifestations. The 2nd house is the house of finances. It's also the house of values. It's the house straight up of your earned income, the money that you make. A solar eclipse opens opportunities, it brings in something new. So it increases the odds that you're going to have money come in. A new income stream is usually what happens. Now there are going to be people with these important Cancer placements that don't have big money news show up. Partly that could be maybe your late degree placement and you're still in process with this. Part of it could be that this eclipse manifests in a way where you get confidence or you get some sort of self-esteem that again is like a predecessor to making money. This is about your value of other things and yourself, and the value of yourself relates to what you wind up getting paid. So there's this very strong relationship here between the pieces of what make up someone bringing money to themselves. So the odds of you making movement on this continuum are very high. If you're not seeing movement, then we need to talk about what you're doing on the inside to block this, okay? This is one of the most important things to understand about astrology. If you watch astrology reports and they talk about the potentials for something and it doesn't happen, it might be easy for you to say, astrology doesn't work, that person is wrong, blah, 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 whatever, and dismiss it. But that's not being accountable for your life, and that plants seeds of disempowerment for yourself, because what astrology tells us is about an increase in potentials. about, you know, kind of like, let's say there's a raffle and you put in 9 of the 10 raffle cards, and then the one that gets picked is that one that's not yours. It doesn't mean that the odds weren't there for you. It just means that it didn't manifest, okay? So that's what astrology tells us. It tells us about this building of potentials. How you can help the universe to build these potentials into manifestations is by constantly leaving an ever vigilant eye on your inner space. Like your inner space is your Zen garden. As soon as one leaf gets in that Zen garden, you got to get it out of there, because you know as soon as one leaf goes in, then it's like 50 leaves are in there, and now you're like, oh, I'm not going to clean the Zen garden right now, right? So piece by piece, you have to pick these things out of your Zen garden so that it can be nice and clear and ready for these manifestations. So the way you do this is through inner work, clearing up trauma, books like The Presence Process by Michael Brown, books like Tapping into Wealth, a targeted EFT tapping course for all of your money and accomplishment issues. I love that for you right now, especially. Things like that are ways you can work with the universe. You can also do free emotional freedom technique, EFT tapping, and find tons of free resources online to help you clear your meridians, your channels of energy flow through your body to prepare for these manifestations. Okay, so this is true for you if you are seeing money manifest, to help it manifest even more. And this is especially true for you if you're not seeing it and you're getting frustrated because you're hearing about the potential and it's not happening. You have to own that and do something with it if you want to have the outcomes that you want. So something of value could come to you, something expensive you've been wanting, a home, a boat, some kind of luxury thing, something in line with living in sync with the earth. So something you know, advanced as far as earth friendliness. You could manifest that. You could also manifest the income stream, some more self-sufficiency in your income, changes with how you use money. If you change how you spend money, you might change the kind of money that you keep, right? So there are a lot of different ways that this can be affected besides an increase in income, although the odds are very much in favor of that. For the rest of you late degree placements, you might see this eclipse occur in the first house. And some of you will see it in the second house, but a good bit of you will see it in the first house. The first house has to do with accomplishment, you being put in the limelight, you being the center of attention, something coming to you that puts all eyes on you. So that could happen. Now, this can also be drama that's not positive. So again, you want to put your best foot forward so that you can manifest the best outcomes. And how you put your feet forward, right, are going to help depend on how this manifests for you. Sometimes a first house eclipse can manifest in a health crisis. It can also manifest as a health triumph or an accomplishment or good news about you beating something or getting something into remission or, you know, breaking through a health obstacle. So if you have any symptoms, always I think that you should check with somebody, a professional. But if you haven't, and this is coming up, then this might be the time to go get something checked out, because an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, especially when it relates to health things. Okay, so those are the eclipses. Now I want to talk about this amazing water trine and this earth trine, because everyone, all of the signs of the zodiac are going to be positively affected by these two trines. Trines are the most beautiful, harmonious, awesome aspects in astrology. So we'll all be feeling that. But for a Cancer, the water trine, your placement in Cancer can possibly create a grand trine with this. So what that means is Neptune and Pisces is going to come together with Jupiter and Scorpio. So if your birthday is between July 2nd and July 12th, especially focusing on like the 7th, around July 7th, the days around there, then your degree of your sun will be in an exact grand trine, making this beautiful sacred geometric shape with this Neptune and Scorpio aspect. So that increases the odds for amazing things to come to you. So this can still be beneficial for you if you're not in that range, but there's extra blessing potential if you are. If you're watching for your rising sign or your moon sign and you have degrees between 10 and 20 degrees, especially the closer to 15, the more strong, then you will also have create a grand trine with your placement and what's going on in the cosmos. So it's It's pretty exciting stuff. The Earth trine, oh, okay, I'll talk in more detail about the water trine, but just know that it's going to be in effect for the whole second half of August and the first half of September. This is a long-term thing. It started at the end of 2017, then another piece of the story came in at the end of May, beginning of June, and then now August 19th-ish will be, you know, like the culmination of it. So, the Earth trine is also favorable for everybody, but especially for water signs, because Earth and water are like a pair. They work together beautifully. So things that are happening in the Earth signs send beautiful vibrations over to the water sign. So now for you all in the early part of Cancer placement, so like the June birthdays for Cancer, you all are most highlighted for this one because it's the closer you get to 2 degrees. Okay, so Uranus and Taurus, Saturn and Cap, and then the Sun in Virgo will be at 2 degrees. So this one is, you're going to be feeling this as well, like all of August into September. These trines that are with outer planets, the effects of them are longer than the faster moving planets. Okay, so the potentials for these are just sitting there in wonderful magical potential. So Earth trines can help bring things into fruition, manifestation, material things. And again, so like sending this beautiful vibration of all of your water energies, pulling things into a material, practical, mundane, stable manifestation. So that's a potential for all of you, but especially for you June-born ones, you might see some extra magic from this. Okay, so those are the things that I wanted to talk about for Cancer. Now I want to talk about the rest of Mars retrograde. What is the motto for this time? What are the mantras that you can focus on so that you can utilize this energy, the do's and don'ts of this time, and the little annoying squares and their dates to look out for those, as well as other relevant things for this month. So I'm going to go into all that now. So the theme of the month for August 2018 for all signs is magical alignments and abundant blessings. And that is for a bunch of different reasons. We have so many things going on now culminating into these magical potentials. So we've got Mars retrograde and then going direct around between the 26th and 28th of August. We have Mercury retrograde, and that was starting July 26th, running through August 18th or 19th, depending on your time zone. We have the new moon solar eclipse in Leo. That's going to be on August 11th. We've got 2 outer planet trines. So there's magical things going on there. We have a full moon in Pisces at 3 degrees on August 26th. So these are a lot of things that are going on. So I want to just give you a little recap of how to use these energies well and hit a couple of dates to note. Also note that the information that I'm giving you, if you are better with written and looking at things visually, you can get a written version of what I'm describing, plus more details about the general transits and aspects for August and every month when you sign up for my free newsletter at anniehelpsyou.com. When you sign up at anniehelpsyou.com, you'll get a resend of all the newsletters I've sent for recent times, so you can catch up with what's going on. And then of course I always send these out a month early so you have them for your planning purposes, so you know the good days, the dicey days, and things like that to make your plans. So the eclipses and the retrogrades are both increasing the odds that things worked of, dreamed of, and planned on in the past will come to fruition now. This is a major time of continued manifestation. The retrogrades are not good for certain things, which you can check out on my website, anniehelpsyou.com, and also check out on my YouTube channel. If you put in Annie Botticelli YouTube, I have lots of videos about Mars retrograde, Mercury retrograde, on the things to avoid during these transits. But there are a lot of things that these retrogrades are really amazing for. And one of them is to let things come to you, is to be the spider. It's like you've woven your web, and maybe you're also weaving a web for future catches in the future, but it's in the backdrop. But you're just letting things come in. You're relaxing, you're de-stressing the best way you can, you're not forcing things, you can be comfortably productive, but it's more about being the spider and letting your food come to you. Another theme of this month is taking a break from the norm in big and small ways. Even something as simple as driving down a different street to go to work builds new neuronal pathways in your brain. And not only is that good for the longevity of your mental capacities, it's also, when you light up new neuronal pathways in your brain, it activates new energy in your field to bring in new things to you, to break out of old, a matrix, an old matrix. So you can do things different in a small way, or you could do things different in a big way. There's an example that I want to give you about this artist that I know, who is very detailed in his painting, but he was stuck. He wasn't getting paid for his creative work, and sometimes it would take him years to complete a painting. Of course, if you see the painting, it would be like, wow, you can't even believe that somebody could create that, especially with a small paintbrush. But he was stuck. And so during this cycle of the retrograde, he started watching Bob Ross. I don't know if you know Bob Ross, the epic Bob Ross with his epic hair, but you can look him up on YouTube. He basically teaches you how to paint landscapes, and you can watch him paint this amazing landscape picture. It's like 20 minutes, it's crazy. So he started watching Bob Ross and then started applying this very fast using of the artistic skills to get in and get out and finish things. And because of that, things unlocked for him, and he's had this whole new opportunity for being paid for his artistic work, when before he was stuck in the same old way. But that's how you can that's an example of how you can use these retrograde energies to just break from the norm, to open yourself up for more opportunities now from the eclipses and other things, and also in the future. So definitely check out my Mars retrograde blog and video. Definitely check out my Mercury retrograde video. But do know that this month we are carrying those energies, but both of those planets are going direct. So I gave you those dates earlier. If you're traveling now or ever, and you are interested in seeing what the astrology for your travel time is, things to look out for, things to be aware of, you can check out my website, Astrology Kiss Travel Bliss. And I do monthly travel astrology reports on there. Okay, so this long series of retrogrades that we've had for months could be wearing on you, and your patience could be running thin. This plus this notable amount of squares, so I'm calling it minor annoyances with these squares, but major blessings because of these, the solar eclipse and the outer planets coming together in beautiful configuration. But just know that you're going to have a little bit of an open boosting time. So even though the personal planets being retrograde are not going to end this long sequence until like December, at the end of August, beginning of September, you'll have a little bit of a break from the deep retrograde energies, okay? So if certain things have to bubble up, effervescence, just bubbling up, you might notice some momentum and some things starting to pick up at that point. In general, issues with anger at present or past situations can come up strongly, so the more you can not act from a charged space, the more you can prevent yourself karmic repercussions. And also adopting the spiritual recognition of divine timing over your own timing is a major theme that the astrology of this month wants you to bring into your forefront. Everything is happening just as it's supposed to, and you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Okay, so I'm going to hit a couple of highlights of dates to watch. August 1st, we've got a square. Tension can create breakthroughs here, but any way you can break free from something, just try to do it with care and not with anger. August 6th, we have another square, the Sun and Jupiter. So you can feel very proud and capable with this transit, but depending on how you bring that feeling out to the world, maybe it won't be well received. So just kind of watch it, try to tend to not overdo on any level, including spending, food and drink and substances and things like that. On August 7th, we have Uranus going retrograde. That starts at 2 degrees of Taurus and it goes retrograde back to 28 degrees of Aries. So anybody who has placements there, it won't go direct until January 6, 2019. So this is where the planet of change and freedom switches to do deeper work on your inner space. Okay, so either to catch up with changes that have already occurred in the outer realms or to prepare you for future changes that are coming in the outer realms. Also on August 7th, we have a beautiful trine with Venus and Mars. So this is a great little boost here in the midst of some of the annoying aspects. We've got on August 8th, Venus opposing Chiron. So it's very likely to bring up some challenges involving love and money, and feeling like your self-esteem is off or feeling like a victim is more likely at this time. But of course, it always gives us opportunities to have breakthroughs as well. August 8th, we have the Sun conjunct Mercury in Leo, so you can have your creativity ignited. It can fuel romance, it can increase fun, it can also increase ego flares and battles, so just tread lightly on charged topics. August 9th, we've got we have Venus square Saturn. I don't know where July just came from. Anyway, so Venus square Saturn. Whenever Venus, the planet of love and beauty and money, comes together with Saturn, just sort of this hard-nosed, challenge bringer, especially in that type of configuration, it can bring money or relationship issues. So, the need for you to deal with them is going to be higher, but your inclination to avoid them is also going to be high. We've got another square on August 10th between the 10th and the 11th of Mercury and Jupiter. Whenever we have squares with Jupiter, Jupiter is a benevolent outer planet. So even the challenging aspects with Jupiter can be softer than squares with other planets. So it can bring a lot of optimism, but again, with that, like a tendency to overdo, like I have so much energy, I don't know what to do with myself, and then now I just burn myself out or something like that. So just kind of be aware of what you're committing to. August 11th, we've got a solar eclipse, new moon at almost 19 degrees of Leo. So this is time to make your 10 new moon wishes on the topics of Leo. So anything with children, creativity, romance, fun, hobbies, addictions, leadership, acting, anything else that puts all eyes on you. So new opportunities and major new chapters can come in from that eclipse. August 19th, we have this official trine between Jupiter in Scorpio and Neptune in Pisces. So again, this started at the end of December. There's some story that started at the end of 2017. It got strong again at the end of May, beginning of June. And then this is the final connection. So if you have any, especially water placements close to 15 degrees, but really anything that would aspect the 15 degrees there is going to more closely affect you. And you'll feel that trine for quite a while, a while before the 19th and a while after the 19th. August 25th, we have a grand Earth trine with the Sun in Virgo, Saturn in Capricorn, and Uranus in Taurus, and those are at 2 degrees. So if you have any planets at 2 degrees, especially, something that causes an astrological aspect with Earth in those signs, there's going to be more effects for you. August 14th through September 13th, we will very likely feel this beautiful effect. So launches and important things can be great. Even though we're kind of still doing a lot of retrograde energy, if you have to push in something at the end of August, beginning of September, you can ride the coattails of this trine while getting, Mars will be direct as of between the 26th and 28th. Mercury is already direct, so you'll have more momentum here and you might see some really beautiful things happen. August 27th, Mars is direct at 28 degrees of Capricorn. That post-shadow period stretches until October 10th, so it won't regain full oomph until then. But momentum and drive and ambition will definitely, for those of you where it was waning, it will very likely start to return, sometimes to the day. It'll be a little sleepy, but you'll feel something different, like something's waking up. So on August 27th or 28th, depending on your time zone, Mercury will square Jupiter again. We had that square earlier that I mentioned, but because Mercury was in retrograde, then it did it in retrograde, then when it went direct, it did it again. So just be careful of overcommitting. And if you can promise or commit to only a fraction of what you feel like you can do, then you'll be happier, because as time moves on from this moment, your optimism or the reality may set in. And if you commit to something from that high space, then it's going to be hard for you to pull it through. Okay, so these are the things that are most on my mind for the transits in August. Definitely, if you'd love to learn astrology, check out my website, anniehelpsyou.com, for my astrology education options. If you'd like to be a coach as your profession, I would love to help you, teaching you my 6-step formula to getting results. I'm really good at setting and reaching goals, and I'd love to teach people how to do that for themselves and for other people too. If you'd like to bring your business online and have geographical freedom, You may be interested in my Creating Successful Online Business course, which you can also see at anniehelpsyou.com. Remember that if you would like a written horoscope from me, often with different things than I talk about in the video, you can go to cozybysweetstarlight.com. At cozybysweetstarlight.com, you will see blogs featured from people, up-and-coming bloggers, also from myself, and my horoscopes are featured there. But there are a lot of different lifestyle blogs there that I think you will enjoy. So check that out. Go to my husband's website, IamHelios, IamHelios.com, to learn tarot. Also, he does astrology readings, tarot readings, and other cool things you can see on his site. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.